Hello, I'm Dr. Winnie King, and I'm here in the lobby of the Children's Hospital at Montefiore in New York City, so you may hear some noise or even ambulance sirens in the background. You may not know that about 100,000 people in the U.S. have an inherited disorder that we call ataxia, which means that they've lost the coordination in their arms or legs, or sometimes in other parts of their body. Now, one of the most common forms of ataxia is called Friedreich's ataxia, or FA. It leaves a child's mind untouched, but it makes a really savage attack on their bodies. It can damage their heart and cause their spines to curve, but it also takes away their strength and balance, their ability to walk and even talk. And eventually, if a cure isn't found, it may take their lives. But despite the tremendous challenges these kids face, they're still kids. And with the support of their parents, they just push ahead and live their lives like the rest of us do. It is remarkable the strength people have inside when they really need it. Come with us to North Branford, Connecticut, and meet the two Bodd sisters, Samantha and Alexandria.
Some of the research and stuff said I wasn't even gonna live past 17. I didn't really know what to feel because you're 8, and when you're 8 you think when I'm 17 all the fun will be out of life and it'll be no big deal and whatever. But as I got older and as I became 14, 15, I started to get worried. It was whoa, I'm having a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be done in 2 years.
Sam was born in 86. Alex was born in 90. And for the sake of a better word, it was perfect. Our life was perfect. We were really enjoying ourselves. And then one day, Sam came home from karate class and said that they were doing an exercise. She had to close her eyes. She fell over. And then I started to notice, gee, she's walking through the door. She's hitting the sides of the door jamb, and a few little things like that started to happen. So I was really alarmed, and a lot of people were telling me I was crazy and, what was I talking about? Nobody saw anything. So I actually brought her to a neurologist, and they gave me the diagnosis. The neurologist wrote on a piece of paper, Friedreich's ataxia, progressive neurologic disorder. And she said to me, what does this mean to you? And I said, well, nothing really means anything to me except for the word progressive. She said, take your family vacations now. And she said, and you consider yourself lucky that MDA will pay for your wheelchairs. And I said, you gotta be kidding me. So in this little teeny amount of time, absolutely everything changed.
How was work? It's good. How was work for you?
Good. Got it? I gotcha. I learned that there was no treatment in that cardiomyopathy. An enlargement of the heart is usually the final blow to these kids. The heart gets so big that it just can't work anymore. It was basically pretty doom and gloom.
I almost called you during the day because...
In Friedreich ataxia, people have abnormalities in a particular gene. They don't make any of the protein which is coded by that gene. They don't make enough energy, thus they're always fatigued, and over time some of the cells of their body die because they don't make enough energy.
From 5 years old, I was a big horseback rider. I loved sports. I was the biggest sports fan you could ever imagine. I loved being outside, running around, and I can't do that anymore, and it kills me.
Remember, out is easier than in.
Over time, people lose their coordination in their hands as well as the ability to walk. It affects lots of different systems. They can have difficulties with speech. They also have heart troubles. And some people can have visual loss as well as loss of the ability to hear. The spine becomes curved over time, and we'll have to correct that in some individuals as well.
Imagine the biggest blow, just somebody sucking the wind right out of you. I think I went through a mourning process, a loss of what you envisioned for your children.
Now let's keep count.
You're supposed to keep count.
That's your one
I'm
job.
concentrating on watching your
one
mechanics.
job.
The individual with Friedreich ataxia do not change in their thinking abilities. They are cognitively normal people.
That was 8.
6.
I had decided that I was not going to sit down and tell her everything, that I was going to answer questions honestly as she asked me. And I found that she really asked appropriate questions at the appropriate times.
It not only hurts physically, but it hurts emotionally and mentally. So, I don't know what I did in a past life, or I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I want a refund.
Alex was about 4 when Sam was diagnosed, and they explained it to Alex. I remember saying to myself, I'm not going to worry about that because God would never do that to anybody. Both kids, 2 out of 2.
I tried to block it out, but when I first learned about it, I was little, so I didn't really understand that I'd be in a wheelchair. And I didn't really understand what it was, or why I wouldn't be able to play on the playground with everyone.
Sam and Alex may be sisters, but they in fact look different in many ways, even from the point of their disorder. Sam, she's had mainly balance dysfunction. She has some issues with regard to curvature in her spine, but her heart is also very much under control. In contrast, her sister, Alex, has a very different build. She's much thinner, and she's had a lot more difficulty with curvature of the spine, having had correction several years ago.
Well,
That girl. Lock those knees out. Better?
mm-hmm.
She had 2 rods put all the way down either side of her spine, from her shoulder blades down to her pelvic bones, with all little clips all the way down. It was a 7 or 8 hour surgery. She didn't really have an option. She was very brave.
Alex has had more issues as well with her heart, and particularly a rapid heartbeat recently.
See, when I straighten my knees, then I have to use my arms. My biggest dream was to be a dancer, but that's a little unrealistic. So I kind of ruled that out a while ago. But I just wanna my dream is to just be happy and to accept the fact that I can't do everything, and I still live my life pretty well.
So, what does it take to live life pretty well? Part of it is just plain perseverance, a refusal to be beaten down, and a determination to make the best of the deck you've been handed. But it also requires a support team, a parent to sustain and guide these kids through their daily lives, and a medical support team to help them fight back against every inch of the disease's progress. Today, Alex and her mom are going to a speech therapy session. They've invited us to join them.
Let's go.
Okay, Tiffany. People say to me a lot, I could never do what you do, but people don't really know what they're capable of. All right. On 3. 1, 2, push. Okay. I'd say we're in and out of the car a half a dozen times a day at least. There's also, in and out of bed, showers. So, lifting is part of life. Lifting is life. Remember when you spoke to Dr. Purdy on the phone?
Yeah.
Did she explain to you any of the things you might do, you're going to do together?
Well, she just told me, she'd just be talking to me. and listening to how my voice sounds and how my breath is.
Alex is very insightful, and she's a great writer. But over the last 6 months to 8 months, she's had a little bit of difficulty with people understanding her.
I sound different to myself, like in my head, and I can't understand why they can't understand me. I know this disease is progressive, but I just don't want it to get that bad.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Want to just go around the corner?
Scoot out.
I want to get an idea of how your muscles in your mouth move, how well your voice works, how well you have good breath support to get your voice going. So I'm going to be asking you to do just a lot of different kinds of things. I want to hear sort of like a sigh, starting high and then coming down like this. Ah. Okay, do it again. Okay, try down and going up. Ah.
I don't know if I can do that.
Let's give it a shot. Because what this does, you're not trying out for the opera or anything, so don't worry about it. Again, I'm looking at the ability of the vocal folds to move.
When progression happens, it's an adjustment, and you kind of learn to take a breath, acclimate yourself to the new place you are. It's almost like torture, watching the progressions, and as a parent saying, I can't stop it. There's nothing I can do to stop it.
I have some friends that are up there now, and they like it pretty well.
Good, I understood all of that. You took a breath fairly early on in the sentence, which was good, and then you finished the rest out in one, and I could tell that you were running out of breath. So instead of trying to push yourself through it, you're better off stopping, slowing down a little bit, taking that extra breath.
I believe that I have to be strong for them. If I don't advocate for them, and if I don't really research different avenues for them, I don't know how things would play out for them. And hopefully by seeing the advocacy that I carry on, it'll help them to be the same way for themselves. She gives great presentations. She's a really good student, and I hate to see her not doing as well as she could simply because she's frustrated over her speech.
My mom, she's always there for us, and she helps us. Sometimes I don't, even though I need more things, I don't ask her for what I need. So I find a lot of my strength in her.
My greatest hope is a treatment. I mean, that's why I work so very hard. And I don't mean I expect my girls to take a pill and jump out of their wheelchairs and, but I think a treatment would give them a chance, living. Too many young kids are dying with this. Way too many. And that's the risk every day.
I would define my life in 3 major parts: before diagnosis, after diagnosis, and after Benji's death. When the twins were first diagnosed, they were 16. Until that time, basically they had been perfectly ordinary 16-year-old boys. A little bit clumsy, but they were growing 6 inches a week. I didn't think anything of it. Their progression was actually very, very fast. Normally it's 10 years from diagnosis to wheelchair. My boys were in wheelchairs in less than 2 years. Benjamin had severe scoliosis. His back curvature was 54 degrees, and Alex's curve is only 28 degrees. Benj decided himself that he wanted to have the spinal fusion surgery. He was 20. With the heart problems that come with Friedreich's ataxia, you have to be very, very careful when doing any sort of medical procedure. Benj came through the surgery wonderfully. He was doing really well for 3 days, but he had been given too many fluids, and his heart wasn't able to handle those fluids, and he went into atrial fibrillation, multi-organ shutdown, and then he died, and I honestly can't understand why the world can even go on without him. You know, all time should stop. My son is dead. That's it.
Here's the first one I got. What does that mean? Well, it's pretty private, but part of it is about my brother.
It took Alex probably 18 months before he was ready to go back to school again. He was in college.
This is a turtle. I like to think of it as my spirit animal. It stands like longevity and endurance. Supposedly that means old man. That means it's kind of like a promise to myself to be an old man. I really think I see the world in a different way, and I think my photography is like trying to show what I see.
I found a silver lining in his death. I have enabled his organs to be used for research. 2 papers have been written because of his organs. Several other parents have now donated their children's organs for research. And without that, we would not be able to find a cure. With luck, Alex will be alive long enough to benefit from both a treatment and a cure.
Well, Mary Lisa's wish may be more than just a dream. Largely through the fundraising work of the FA Parents Group, researchers have found the gene that causes FA, making diagnosis easier and making a cure more promising. The result? Well, while many of the older children have suffered the most devastating effects of FA, the parents of the youngest kids have hoped that their children will be spared that pain. Donovan Simpson's story began the same way as Mary Lisa's boys and the Bodd Sisters. By now, you'll recognize the symptoms. But Donovan's symptoms haven't progressed as far, and his parents see real signs of hope for his future.
Oh my gosh, you have a turtle.
Yellow.
Dang! Donovan always has been a very clumsy child. The sitters would always say, your child's falling a lot. We wonder about this. The very first day when the doctor said what it was, I remember vividly, sorry, I'm going to get really emotional now because it was a very emotional time. Sorry, I have to stop for a second. I remember vividly seeing Norman and him telling me and how devastating it was. But the good news is, now that we're going through it and we have a lot of great hope that there will be a cure. And we do a lot of fundraisers to help fund it. And we have a lot of great organizations that help us.
Come on, D! Our kind of outlook on life and enjoying life and what we want to get out of it for Donovan. You know, originally, if, you know, he wasn't going to live past his teens, we had a pretty small window of opportunity of what we were going to do. We don't think that's the case anymore.
Right now, I'm in the field. I'm at first. I'm playing at first base.
We live every day to its fullest, and we pack as many fun, wonderful things to do in one day as we can.
Who's this here with you?
That's This is my buddy. Turn around. Watch this.
Close. He's safe. Good try.
It turns out that when Donovan was born 10 years ago, they had just cloned the gene. Right now we have clinical trials going on that have potential treatments. Did I launch you?
No. What we're hoping, and what we currently see, is that his progression is on the mild side. He doesn't have cardiomyopathy. He has very mild curvature of the spine, and his gait's unsteady, but he can ambulate and walk throughout the house. Donovan actually fell and he broke his arm, and he's been in a cast ever since. So with the Friedreich's ataxia, his ability to balance was taken away. So to help him be more independent, we got him a wheelchair and other devices.
My favorite thing to do is play in my pool, like dive under. And I love to lay with my dog.
Shadow is extremely empathic. She knows when he's upset. She will go to him and she will basically pull out the anger out of him. Part of what we've conveyed to him as he's growing up is the fact that you look at these superheroes out there in the world, that you go see Spider-Man or you go see Superman, and you see the conflict that's going on with them is they have a special power that they don't want. Just like Donovan. He has Friedreich's ataxia. He doesn't want it, but that's who he is. 6, 7 months into it, it became pretty important for me to be able to talk to people. And the Friedreich's ataxia website, which is the parents group, became a mechanism for me to vent frustration, to ask stupid questions. You know, like, should he play baseball? What if he gets hurt? Mary Lisa was part of the internet, the group, and she had 2 twin boys. And I think Benj was the first person that I knew that had passed away from Friedreich's ataxia. And so that became a very important person to me. She had posted on the website that she was looking for a home for the service dog that Benj had and Alex had. We didn't realize we weren't just getting a dog. We actually got another family attached to us. And we became good friends, and it gave us a sense of we're not alone.
Recently, we got invited to an event with Sam and Alex Bodie to help raise funding for the clinical trials. They became fast friends.
With Donovan's illness, we'd give anything to get rid of it. But I'll tell you right now, it's made us better people for having it. An ability to work with other people and share with what's going on and not be so selfish ourselves.
I often have people say, oh, I couldn't do what you do. And I just say, well, everybody has issues that they deal with every day. Everybody has something. And you get whatever you're dealt with, you deal with it each day. You take one day at a time.
That's probably a good philosophy for all of us. If you'd like to find out more about Friedreich's ataxia and the groups that are working to cure it, or if you'd like to connect with their support groups, you can go to the website of the Friedreich's Ataxia Research Alliance at curefa.org, and their phone number is 703-426-1576. You can also check out the National Institutes of Health website at nih.gov. Type in the word Friedreich's in the search bar. That's spelled F-R-I-E-D-R-E-I-C-H. And the National Ataxia Foundation has great resources online at ataxia.org, or you can call 763-553-0020. And if you missed any of that, just go to our website, keepingkidshealthy.org. Well, that's all for today. Thanks so much to the wonderful families who share their lives with us today, and thanks to you for watching. I'm Dr. Winnie King, and we'll see you next time on Keeping Kids Healthy.
For more information on today's topics, visit keepingkidshealthy.org.